Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope everyone is staying healthy and safe. We are truly going through some difficult times. And I'm praying for each and every one of you. I really don't know what else to say. Except be careful. And take extremely good care of yourself. Please. With that being said today, I wanted to talk about the concept of being prepared to pick up your ball and go home at any time. You see, I've given the analogy before of a kid on the playfield going up to another kid and saying, "If you give me your candy or lunch money, or whatever, that this kid will somehow be the other kid's friend." Well, we now know that rarely if ever works out. Usually this kid that is making such demands in exchange for friendship, that kid usually never holds up their end of the agreement. And usually it ends up with the kid that is making the demand, making more and more demands to get more and more things out of the other kid. And this is a topic now that I think about it, I want to talk about more because it really ties into how many grown people have relationships sadly. And such relationships in most cases don't work out. Which is another topic for another video. But in this video, I want to talk about something similar, yet different. You see, instead of this kid that is making all of these demands right off the bat as an example, you might have a kid several months down the line. Maybe they don't make such a demand, but that may act in a certain way that isn't becoming of a good friend. Maybe let's say, they take another kid's brand new baseball cap and on purpose throw it into a pile of dog poop on the ground. And then they laugh like there is no tomorrow. And maybe up until this point the friendship has gone extremely well. No problems. No issues. Lots of joking around within reason. Nothing that crosses the line. Lots of good times. Then one day, out of nowhere, one of the kids throws the other kid's hat into a pile of dog poop on purpose and then laughs and laughs about it. What is this kid doing? Well, he or she is testing the boundaries of the other kid. Because you see, if this one kid tries to save the hat and go back to being friends with this person that did such a thing, it's telling this kid that did this horrible act that the kid with the hat has no boundaries. And he or she can now do worse and worse and worse to this other kid and it will be accepted. Now how does this translate to you? You in the real complicated adult world? The fact of the matter is you might know someone for 3 years. And you should be ready at any time to pick up your ball and go home with it. You see. Good parents. The ones that care anyways. They teach their kids. If another kid gets out of line, pick up your toys or your ball and go home. If another kid isn't respecting you or your toys, when you are respecting theirs, quickly scoop up your toys. Or pick up your ball and go home. And what will happen is, over time that kid's instincts will get better and better on how to pick friends. And they will give off a feeling to other kids that they aren't to be tested or played with. Because they will pick up their ball and go home. And that carries on through when you become an adult. So that is a skill you really need to sit down and think about it. Now doing such a thing doesn't mean you need to throw a fit and tell them why you are leaving or upset. Let's say you are at dinner with several work friends. And before you know it, it seems like everyone is ganging up on you and making fun of you for no reason. Wait for a slow spot in the evening and then say, you just got a message from a family member. And you need to get home. And leave. And if these people want to talk about you when you leave, no problem. You can't control that. But what you can control is yourself. Now I have to point out, making a big fuss about things is going to just feed these people narcissistic supply. They love when they get under the skin of another person. They live for that. That's why the best thing in such a situation is to wait for a slow part. And then make a pleasant exit. Then be just too busy to hang out with these people ever again. You see, what I've learned about having a few consistent friends in my life that are positive people. We joke around and have a good time together. But there is a lot of uplifting and decency. What that helps me understand and see is when someone is just being mean-spirited. And they are trying on purpose to get under my skin and provoke me to get upset. Now this can also be in a situation where you are dating. And you've been together for 3 or 4 years. And they on purpose break something of yours. I mention that because it seems narcissists love to break your personal items. Yet you have to be careful around their prized possessions. If you find this happening, please take it as a sign. This person doesn't respect nor do they like you. And by you not picking up your ball and going home, you are telling them without words. It's okay to mistreat you and for them to take it up another notch and now do worse to you. Look. People can be weird. For a few years, things are going great. And then out of the blue, they are breaking your stuff. Or they are making fun of you in front of a group of people. But even though you've had a great run for 3 years, you have to have enough self-love to pick up your ball and go home. Because here's the thing. I've known a few, and I mean a few people, where they have been positive every time I've talked to them. And that is even when they are or I am down in the dumps. They are just decent people that value our friendship. The key word here is value. We joke around for sure. But nothing crosses the line because they value our friendship. When someone crosses the line with you, they are telling you loud and clear they don't value you. And they don't value your friendship. They don't care if you pick up your ball and go home. It doesn't matter to them. And they laugh that you stick around and just take it. It's funny to them. But this is the real kicker. Legal relationships. Here's the fact. More and more people are opting out of such relationships because they see that the one that had good intentions in the relationship usually gets ruined completely and almost utterly. To the point where starting over is very difficult. Then those in society tells them to do it again and again and again. Without regards to the pain they have suffered. Oh, you just found the wrong one. Oh, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that right. We know the drill, don't we? But here's the thing these people don't want to address. How about get the laws fixed so people don't get ruined and so people don't get destroyed if you are wanting people to have these legal relationships? And it's in my humble opinion. Those that egg on others to sign their life away are those that would be the ones most likely to do this toxic behavior we are talking about in this topic today. You see, the narcissist doesn't want you to be able to pick up your ball and go home. Narcissists don't even want you to know about all of this information regarding narcissism. Because it does allow you to have the ability to pick up your ball and go home with it. And more people are waking up. And it drives them nuts. But that's the thing. Life is still worth living. There are good people out there. But you have to be ready to enforce your boundaries. You have to have the readiness and ability to quietly pick up your ball and walk off the playfield. And it's best done when no one really realizes you did it. Again, making a fuss will just give the narcissist their narcissistic supply. But wait for a little bit of time to pass. And then just pick up your ball and go home. In some instances, if you think it won't draw a lot of attention, just go home without even telling anyone you're going home. In other instances, make an excuse and leave. You see, I've used the example of the man that dated my ex Susie before I met her. I believe she let her mask slip around month 6. She was trying to push for a fast marriage on this guy. And probably started the devaluation stage. And instead of this guy telling her off and why he was picking up his ball and going home. He made an excuse and slipped out the back door, so he wouldn't have to deal with her again. He told her that he was moving far away for a life opportunity, and that he wanted her to find someone that could give her what she was looking for. But the fact is, it came out years later, the guy never moved anywhere. But what this guy did was realize: 1. This person Susie is crazy, trying to push marriage in 6 months. And 2. Likely she started the devaluation stage and telling him, if he wanted to be treated better, to just marry her. This guy realized that he and what he brought to the table was no longer being respected, so he picked up his ball and went home. And it can be hard. I was with Susie for many years before I reached the end of my rope. But it will never get better. It just won't. And I will tell you what. Having this way of being, even in a small way, it will build up muscle memory in your boundaries and your behaviors. That putting up with nonsense will become a thing of the past. Because once you start walking away from people that don't respect you, people that aren't really important in your life to begin with, you will start to get a sense of what respect and disrespect looks like. What is joking around and what is crossing the line. And you will start to develop those 1 or 2 people around you that actually value your friendship. Yes, they joke around, but they also want your well-being. And that joking around doesn't cross the line to purposely try to hurt you. But you have to be willing to pick up your ball and go home at any time. At any time. No matter it be 6 months or 6 years. Because sadly, once someone feels like they can disrespect you over and over again, it will only get worse. And it seems like narcissism is becoming the new norm. So having this skill of picking up your ball and going home is going to be something that you will need to do. And you might have to do it more often than not. And again, this is why quietly doing it is something that is better than making a big scene. Because making a big scene at a work function will just make you the talk at work. Everyone will be talking about how you got offended, and how you have thin skin. The key is to act like in those instances that it didn't even bother you. And don't get up and leave right away. Wait for the subject to die down and to be switched to something else. And then give it 30 minutes and leave. Now, you might go to such places for work purposes, but always have a reason or excuse why you can only stay for 30 minutes or an hour. And that's probably a good idea anyways, even if you haven't been made a target. Because the longer you engage with certain people, I've found, the more certain people love to just test boundaries. Either it's out of them being bored, or they want to show who is really the strong alpha. Who knows? But having a reason to leave early is usually a good idea, so you don't get roped into these dumb games and back and forths. Also, when there, be a good observer. Talk a bit, but listen more. Again, this will give you a better idea on who is who and what is what. And this will put you in a better situation to avoid being mistreated or attacked. But regardless, you have to be prepared to pick up your ball at any time and go home. You just have to. Carefully. Yes. But it's something you must be prepared to always do. And again, the difficult part is doing this in relationships you've had for years. But it's happened. People just pick up and move on with their life because the other person in the group had little to no respect for someone else. Because here's the thing. You can't make someone respect you. And you don't know what is going on in someone's head. All you can control is you and yourself. That's it. And if someone is disrespecting you, the worst thing to do, and it's something I used to do, is question why. You see. Not in all cases. But in most cases they are doing it on purpose. They are doing it to make themselves laugh. They are doing it because they are bored. They are doing it because they want to show you who is dominant. They are doing it because they are testing you. But at the end of the day, they know they are doing it. And trying to debate back and forth with this person will produce a bunch of circle talk on their part. And further gain for narcissistic supply. It's not worth it. I just nod to myself inside my mind. Okay. This person is crossing the line. And they know they are crossing the line. And then I think to myself. This person obviously doesn't care much about me or our relationship. So why should I care about our relationship either? You see, when you are the only one trying to make things work out, it's a one-sided deal. You are the only one that cares. You are the only one trying to stay friends. Or to keep your relationship intact. When they are mistreating you here and there. And it doesn't matter if they were nice for 6 months. If someone is nice to you for 6 months, then out of nowhere says things that are horrible to you, where's the respect? You have to understand. This is a tactic narcissists use to stay in your life. They treat you super good for a stretch of time. Then out of nowhere, they treat you horribly bad. Because they know you are now invested. And they know and they can tell. Once you are invested into someone, you are really invested into someone. Meaning you will be there for this person through thick and thin. Well, thick and thin doesn't mean them hurting you or mistreating you. This goes back to self-love and having value in yourself. When you have value in yourself, putting up with poor treatment isn't an option. You understand narcissism is the new normal. But it's not the new normal for you and your life. And if someone wants to be in your life, they aren't trying to rip you apart and ruin your self-esteem. You see, people that do that, I pray for them. Because they have terrible self-esteem. Here's the thing. I have a good sense of humor. I love to laugh and joke and have a good time. But one thing I've been told by many people is, James, you are so positive and kind. You try to tell me I can do things I have no confidence in doing. Now here's the thing. I don't do that because I'm someone special. As I'm just a regular little cartoon man trying to make my way through life. But I do what I do because I want to treat people how I want to be treated. And because I don't see a need to ruin someone's self-esteem to bring mine up. I've felt down in the dumps before. Much like you have. And I'm sure you can relate to what I'm going to say. It never occurred to me to hurt someone else's self-esteem to boost mine. Actually, at my worst moments is when I might tell someone something good about themselves. And I'm sure you have done the same. Now I want you to think about that for a moment. If you can be down at the bottom of life, and you are still giving words of encouragement to someone else, why is it that this other person is trying to take you down? You see, this is what narcissism and those that have narcissistic tendencies do. They feed on the pain of others as a source of fuel to get through life. And when they are low, they will feed on anyone near them. Even if it's you. So this is why. Though right now it might be hard as many things are shut down. I tell people to have activities. The few people that I have known for many years that have been consistent. And I do mean consistent friends. I've met them in different aspects of life and in different places. And when you have activities, when someone mistreats you, you can not only pick up your ball and go home. You can go and do something that brings you joy and happiness. Not them. Not the person that doesn't care about you. But you. It brings you to a place where you are smiling and laughing over good things. Not the pain of others. So start looking at your good attributes as your new shiny ball. And when you are in places where your new ball isn't being treated properly, quietly pick it up and go away with it. Go home. Go do something fun. And spend time with those that respect you and what you bring to the table of the friendship or relationship. And you will find you will start making friends that last and friends that count. Because these friends will know. If they try to run such a test on you, you will just walk off with you and your ball and go home. And possibly these friends might not even think to test you. Because most of us here can relate to this fact. When was the last time you thought about testing to see what someone would take from you? I can't recall ever thinking that way with someone I was friends with. And I'm in no way, shape or form perfect. It just never was something that popped up in my mind. And if I and you think this way, there are others out there that likely think like that as well. But you have to be willing to quickly weed through those that are complete and utter time wasters. And trust me, if you pick up with your ball and go home, they will just move right along to someone else to run their game on. Sure, they will think about you. Because narcissists and narcissist lights do think about you and those they've done wrong to. But they don't think in terms of care or feeling bad. They think in terms of they wish they had you around to run their game on again. But the game is starting to get flipped around. Empaths are waking up. We are waking up. And we are picking up our ball and we are going home. Well, that's all I have for now. Please let me know what you think. Please also don't forget to like, share and subscribe to be a part of this channel's growth. Because the more we grow, the less power the narcissists in the world will have. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.